Silas Maths,
the best place to learn mathematics.
Hello friend, welcome back to class. Alright, I believe you had a great learning experience from our previous class. Okay, in our previous class we talked about the fractional power law, okay, and we discussed that extensively. So if you've not gone through that class, please do well to go to that particular class. Okay, so in today's class we're going to be looking at problems on indices. So we are done with all the laws of indices, so we want to take a look at general questions across all the laws we've discussed so far. Okay, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do well to subscribe, because you're going to find this channel interesting, and as well turn on the notification bell so that whenever we drop the content, you catch it up immediately. Okay, without wasting much time, let's quickly jump into what we have for today, and that is what problems on what indices or exponents anyway, don't forget. All right, let's take a look at this. It says simplify the following and leave your answers in a positive index. Simplify the following and leave your answer in a positive index. That is to say, your answer shouldn't have what? A negative power. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the solution. So I have a 27 to the power of negative 1 over what? Negative 1/3, 1 over 3. And remember when we say what we said, whenever we have a negative power, the negative power, this will give us 1 over 27, or to the power of what? 1 over 3. What law do we apply here? That is negative power, that whenever a number is raised to power what? Negative power, we go ahead and then take the reciprocal of the number. So we take this, which is equal to 1 over a, or to the power of what? X. That's the law we just apply here. Okay, so simplifying further, that will give us we'll take the power of, we can solve it using two methods, or just go ahead and then take the third root or the cube root of this, which is what? Cube root of what? 1 over 27, and that will give us equal to cube root of the numerator, which is 1, then cube root of what? 27. Right, when you go ahead and put that in your calculator, or you want to solve it without using calculator, you just ask yourself cube root of, or root of 1, whether square roots, whatever root of 1 is 1, that will give me 1 for here. Then the denominator, cube root of 27, cube root, I beg your pardon, not square root, cube root of 27 is going to give me what? 3, because the number that will multiply itself 3 times to give me 27 is 3. Okay, so cube root of 27 is what? 3. So that is my final answer. Okay, now if you don't want to use just figuring the number out, you can prime factorize these numbers, right, to get such expressions. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the next one, and that is number 2. We have this 2 open bracket ax raised to the power 2 all to the power of what? 0 times 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 all to the power of what? 5. So how do I solve that? We apply the law we know. For this place, remember that any number raised to the power of 0 is going to give us what? Okay, so you recall the laws, that a to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So that is to say that this will give me what? 2 into bracket 1. All right, everything here will be equal to 1. Then times this over here, I have 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the power of what? 5. So what do? I have to change this division sign to what? Multiplication. And when I do that, I'm going to have this to be 2 for this times 2 to the power of 4 times 1 over 2 to the power of what? 5. And recall that this is the same thing as what? Negative power. So that will give me 2 to the power of 1 times 2 to the power of 5 times 2 to the power of negative 5. Remember, what do we apply here? So what we apply here is simply this law that states that a to the power of negative x is something as 1 over what a raised to the power what x. So this simply means that this one also is equal to this one. So in other way around, 1 over this raised to the power 5 is something as what 2 raised to the power negative 5. So simplifying further now, we'll go ahead and apply the what? The multiplication law, which states that, so you also recall that law at every point. Recall that whenever we have, let's say, a raised to the power x times a raised to the power y times a raised to the power what z, whichever it could be, whether it's more than 1, more than 2 or 3 or 4. So we'll go ahead and add their power, and that is what a raised to the power x plus y plus z. So that's what we're going to apply here. Note that all their b's are equal. So since their b's are equal, we'll go ahead and add their powers. So that will give me 2 to the power of 1 plus 5, then plus minus 5, right? Oh, this is not 5, this is 4. I think we'll mix it up here. Here is 4 and here is 4. Okay, so that will give us, go ahead and solve further. We have that this is equal to 2 to the power of what 5 minus plus is minus. So at the end of the day, I have what 2 to the power of what 0. And recall that any number raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. So that is to say that this is equal to what 1, which is my final answer for this problem. Okay, so look at it closely. Any question, drop it at the comment section. All right, so let's jump into the next one. That is number C. All right, let's take a look at the second one. 0.125 all raised to power. This should be all over 3, not over 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve that. We have 0.125 all to the power of what? Negative 4 over 3. And to remove this fraction, we ask ourselves a question. To remove this negative power, we need to take the reciprocal of this. But before that, let's take a look at this. This is a decimal number. We need to change it to fraction. And changing it to fraction, we are going to have what? 1,000. We're going to have 125. Right, this whole number all over what? 1,000. Okay, that is 3 decimal places. So I'm going to have what? 30 all to the power of what? Negative 4 over 3. And that will give us what? To remove the negative power, we'll take the reciprocal of this, which will become 1,000 all over what? 125 all to the power of what? 4 over 3. Now at this point, we take what? If I don't want to apply taking the third root of this, I can actually ask myself a question. What number will multiply itself 3 times to give me this? That is 10. The same thing with here. Here is 5. 5 times itself, 5 places will give us 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So I can express this in 5 times 5 times 5. And in doing that, I can say that this is something as what? Okay, let's go ahead. This is something as what? The cube root of what? 1,000. All right, 1,000. Or I can say, yes, 1,000 all over 125 all to the power of what? 4. Okay, so solving that further, we are going to have this. So we are going to have, for this 1,000, cube root of 1,000, right? Cube root of what? 1,000 all over what? Cube root of what? 125 all to the power of what? All to the power of 4. So cube root of 1,000 is something as what? 10. That is to say 10 times 10 times 10 is something as saying 10 times 10 times 10, or you say cube root of what? 10 to the power of 4 3 all over cube root of what? 5 to the power of 4 3. All right, so that will give us this. So our answer becomes what? 10 for this one, because this power will cancel out this root, this power will cancel out this root. So I have over what? 5 all to the power of what? 4. So simplifying further, we say 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10, you have 10 times 10 times 10 all over what? Okay, times another 10 all over 5 times 5 times 5 times another 5. That's in 4 places. Okay, so that will give me 10 times 10 times 10. We can actually reduce from here by saying 5 here 1, 5 here is 2, 5 here 1, 5 here is 2, 5 here 1, 5 here is what? 2, 5 here 1, and 5 here is what? 2. So what do I have in the numerator now? I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, even from here itself I can actually divide this thing and then get what's it called, 2, and raise it to power 4 to give me this, and that will give me 2 times 2 4 times 2 8 times 2 16. So that's my final answer for this. Then quickly let's jump into number the D. I have this question which reads 2x raised to the power 3y raised to the power negative 2 all to the power of negative 2. So what do? We apply the power law, power to power law, product power law. This power will multiply all the power of the numbers inside this bracket. So I'm going to have 2 to the power of what? Remember that this one here 2 is having what? The power of 1. So that 1 times this negative 2 will give me negative 2 times x raised to the power 3 times negative 2, then times y raised to the power negative 2 times negative what? 2. So that will give me what? Taking this will give me what? 1 over 2 to the power of 2. Then this times this is going to give me what? X to the power of what? Negative 6. 3 times negative 2 give me negative 6 times y to the power of negative 2 times negative 2 is going to give me what? 4. Okay, so with that I'm going to have this 1 over 4 times, because 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, times 1 over x raised to the power 6, applying what? Negative power law. Then this will give me times what? Y to the power of what? 4. So my final answer would be, all right, y to the power of 4 all over what? 4x to the power of what? 6. So that is that for this. Watch it closely, observe what we have done, and then if you have any question, drop it at the comment section. Over to the next question. You can copy this down, give it a pause and copy this down. All right, let me go ahead and play. So over to E. For E, I have 81 all to the power of what? Negative 0.25. So for this particular one, we are going to express this decimal as what? Fraction, and doing that we have 2 decimal places, so that would be 81 to the power of what? Negative 25 over 100, since we have 2 decimal places. All right, so that will give us I can reduce this to the simplest form. Reducing that to the simplest form, I have what? 81 negative what? 25 into 100 is going to give us what? 4. So that will give me negative 1 over 4. Right, so simplifying for that, to remove the negative index or the negative power, we go ahead and take the reciprocal of this, and that will give me 1 over 81 all to the power of what? 1 over 4. Then we'll go ahead and take the 4th root of this. 4th root of this is going to give us 4th root of what? 1 over 81. All right, so 4th root of 1 over 81, 4th root of 1 is 1. Why the 4th root of 81 is what? 3. That is 3 times 3 times 3. If you say 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is what? 81. So that is the 4th root of 81. Okay, my final answer is what? 1 over 3 for this. And let's jump into the last one. The last one here, I have this question, that's question F, which reads, simplify 32 to the power of x divided by 2 to the power of x minus 1. So what would that be? Now what we're going to do, we are going to prime factorize 32. How many times will 2 multiply itself to give you 32? So let's check that. When you do that, try it out at your rough work column. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and times 2 is what? 32. That means I have 2 in how many places? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is to say that 32, we can write it here, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to what? 32. So that is to say is equal to 2 raised to power what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is same as 32. So that means I can express this by saying that this is equal to what? 2 raised to power 5 all to the power of x divided by what? 2 to the power of x minus 1. So remember our power law, this will multiply this, and that will give me what? 2 to the power of 5x divided by what? 2 to the power of x minus 1. Now we have our division law. The bases are the same. What do? We subtract their powers. So in subtracting their powers, what are we going to have? So we're going to have 2 to the power of what? 5x minus, all right? Minus. Then you put everything here in a bracket. That will give us x minus 1. Okay? So simplifying further, we have 2 to the power of what? 5x minus, opening this bracket, I'm going to have minus x, minus here will give me plus 1. So solving further, 5x minus x is going to 5x minus x rather is going to give us what? 4x. So I'm going to have 2 to the power of 4x plus 1, and that is my what? Final answer. So observe all these laws, and we're going to be dropping a workbook that you're going to be going through. Just do well to observe the workbook and then give me feedback on that. So we're going to call it a pause now. In our next class, we're going to consider indicial equation. All right, thanks for joining. If you have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe. Bye for now. See you in our next class.